There is a number that shows up in almost every AI business case I have ever reviewed. It is the projected cost savings. A company runs the analysis. They identify the tasks that AI can handle. They multiply the hours by the hourly rate. They arrive at a number. And that number looks convincing. Sometimes it looks extraordinary. The problem is not that the number is wrong about what AI can do. The problem is what the number leaves out. What you are watching right now is an AI clone, a digital version of me, Ronald. This is intentional. AI is already part of how we work every single day at Datawonder, an AI automation and voice agent company that builds practical AI solutions for real businesses. Insurance companies, accounting firms, medical clinics, organizations where the work is complex, the data is sensitive, and the cost of inefficiency is measurable. This channel exists because most AI content does not reflect what actually happens inside companies. It reflects what people hope will happen. There is a difference. If you want the version of AI analysis that comes from building and deploying these systems, not from theorizing about them, consider subscribing. No hype here, just what we observe. Now, back to that number. The phrase you hear most often in AI business cases is cost reduction, and it is not inaccurate. AI does reduce certain costs, but what the business case almost never accounts for is where those costs go, because they do not disappear. They move. This is the pattern I want to walk through today, because once you see it clearly, it changes how you evaluate every AI initiative, whether you're building one, approving one, or advising on one. Let me give you a concrete example. An insurance company decides to deploy a voice agent to handle inbound client calls. Routine questions, policy status, claims updates, coverage inquiries. The kind of calls that come in at high volume are largely predictable in structure and consume a significant portion of the customer service team's time. The business case is straightforward. If a voice agent can handle 60% of those calls autonomously, the company needs fewer agents, or the same number of agents can handle a higher volume without adding headcount. Either way, the labor cost line goes down. That part is real. But here is what the business case usually does not model. The voice agent needs to be maintained. The call flows need to be updated when products change, when regulations shift, when customer behavior evolves. Someone needs to own that. Someone needs to monitor the system for failure modes. Someone needs to handle escalations intelligently and make sure the handoff from AI to human does not create friction. None of that work existed before the AI system was deployed. All of it exists after. So the question is not whether AI reduced costs. It did. The question is whether the total cost picture, including the new costs that the system created, is actually lower than before. Sometimes it is. Often it is less dramatic than the original projection suggested. Occasionally, in organizations that underestimated the operational overhead, it is roughly neutral for the first year or two. That is not a failure. It is a misunderstanding of the timeline. If you want to give this video a like, this is the moment. It helps the analysis reach more people who are making these decisions. The cost movement pattern shows up in three distinct places. The first is what I would call the maintenance layer. Every AI system requires ongoing attention. The more deeply it is integrated into operations, the more that attention costs. Prompts need to be refined. Integrations need to be monitored. Edge cases accumulate and need to be addressed. Data pipelines need to be kept clean and current. In a company that does not have internal AI expertise, which is most companies, this work gets done by whoever is closest to the system. Sometimes that is the vendor. Sometimes it is an internal IT person who was not originally assigned to this. Sometimes it falls into a gray zone where nobody is clearly responsible. That last scenario is the most expensive one, because work without clear ownership does not get done consistently. And inconsistency in an AI system shows up as errors, missed escalations, degraded performance, which leads to its own downstream costs. The second place costs move is into the integration layer. AI systems rarely exist in isolation. They connect to CRMs, they pull from databases, they trigger workflows and other tools. Every connection point is a potential failure point. When something breaks in an integrated system, the question of what broke becomes genuinely complicated. Is it the AI layer, the CRM, the data pipeline, the API that connects them? Diagnosing that takes time. Fixing it takes expertise. And if the system is customer-facing, a voice agent, a client portal, an automated communication flow, the window between something breaking and someone noticing is short. I have seen companies underestimate integration costs by a factor of 2 or 3. Not because they were careless, because integrations are invisible in a business case until they become problems. The third place costs move is into the change management layer. This one is the most consistently underestimated. When you deploy AI to automate a task that a human was previously doing, you do not eliminate that human's relationship to that task. You change it. The human now oversees the AI rather than performing the work directly. That is a different skill set. It requires training. It requires a period of adjustment where the human is less effective than they were before the system was introduced. That transition period has a cost, and in industries like insurance or healthcare, where regulatory compliance is part of the job, that transition period also carries risk. So you have a dip in performance before you have the gain. The business case usually shows the gain. It rarely shows the dip. Now here is the second-order effect that most organizations miss entirely. When costs move rather than disappear, the accounting systems often do not reflect it accurately. The original cost of the labor cost was visible, direct, and attributable. It appeared on a headcount report. It was easy to measure. The new costs of maintenance, integration, change management are diffuse. They show up in different budget lines. They are owned by different teams. They are harder to connect back to the AI initiative that created them. This creates a distorted picture. The leadership team sees the labor cost going down. They do not necessarily see the new costs accumulating elsewhere. And so the AI initiative looks like a success on the metric that was being tracked, while the total cost picture is murkier than anyone realizes. This is not a technology problem. The AI did what it was supposed to do. It is an organizational accounting problem, and it is one of the most common ways that AI ROI gets overstated, not through bad faith, but through incomplete measurement. The companies that navigate this well share one characteristic. They define success metrics before deployment, not after. They agree on what they are measuring. They account for the new operational overhead in the original projection. And they have clear ownership of the system from day one. Not ownership of the deployment, but ownership of the ongoing performance. That last point matters more than most organizations realize. A system without a clear owner is a system that gradually degrades. The costs do not disappear from that scenario. They accumulate quietly until something visible breaks. The practical implication of all of this is not that AI initiatives are bad investments. Many of them are genuinely strong ones. The efficiency gains in repetitive, high-volume tasks are real. In accounting firms, in medical clinics, in insurance operations, we see concrete time savings that translate directly into capacity and cost reduction. But the framing of AI reduces costs is incomplete. The more accurate framing is, AI moves costs. It shifts them from direct labor into operational infrastructure. Whether the total picture improves depends on how well you plan for and manage that infrastructure. That is the analysis most business cases skip, and it is the one that determines whether the investment actually delivers. I'm curious where you have seen this play out, whether you work inside a company that deployed AI, or you advise organizations that are in the process of doing it. What costs showed up that nobody accounted for in advance? Leave that in the comments. these observations are more useful than any single case study. If you want to explore how to build AI systems in your business with the total cost picture accounted for from the start, not just the projection, but the operational reality, you can book a free call with me. The link is right below this video.